operations in maths, add, subtract, multiply, divide. So if I have a question such as 2 minus 4, I need to be able to deal with that confidently. What is 2 subtract 4? Negative 2. We can use our number line for this. We start, this, remember, is where you start your sum. We start on the left-hand side. And we start at 2, and we subtract 4. And subtract goes which direction, left or right? Left. So if we want to subtract, we go that way. And if you want to add, you go that way. But we subtract 4, so 2 subtract 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We end up back here at negative 2. All makes sense? So far, so good, hopefully. So if you have $2 and you take away 4 of those dollars, well, you got to go past 0. You got to go back into the zeros, yeah. What happens if I start with a negative number and I add to it? Nico, what did you get again? Nico on the road. Negative 9. Has he? This second one. Start at negative 3 and add 6 to it. Yeah. No, you're overcomplicating. I'm starting at negative 3. Always start here at that starting position. Negative 3. And all I need to do is add 6 to it. And add, I go to the right. So I start at negative 3 and I want to add 6. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I end up here. Don't overcomplicate it. I will overcomplicate it in a second. Okay. So we have the basics of using a number line to add and subtract. Subtract, we go to the left. We add, we go to the right. Hopefully we're starting to get confident with looking at where negative numbers sit. What happens if we got a bunch of signs? What happens if I write plus 2 minus plus 4? Plus 2 minus plus 4. What on earth is going on here? It is negative 2. This is the exact same as that. We just never see it written like this. Because normally we don't care about the sign of the number, the positivity or the negativity. We just write numbers and presume they're positive. Sometimes we put them in brackets like this, but this is just 2 take away 4. Just the 2 and the 4 are positive. We always suspected that. The subtraction is the operation. This is the operation. These are the 2 numbers. They're both positive. You did it here with no problem. What about if we have minus 2 minus minus 4? This is tricky. Toby.
Minus 6.
Okay. Nico?
Is it 2?
Can't remember. Let's figure it out. Very confused with all these negatives. Sometimes you see brackets around them as well. This is the value negative 2. This is the value negative 4. There are the 2 numbers, and this is the operation, minus. So I start with negative 2, and I need to subtract a negative 4. So if I just look at this, subtracting a negative is the same as doing what? Joey?
Adding?
It is adding, yeah.
2.
Yeah, so if I owe someone $10 and they say, no, don't worry about it. It's like I gained $10, isn't it? So a minus minus, subtracting a debt, is a positive. A minus minus is a positive. So minus 2, and this minus minus can be rewritten plus 4. And from here, I can go to my number line if I want to solve it. I start here with my first number, and I add 4. Start here with negative 2, and I add 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I end up with 2. What happens if I have if I start at 3, and I add a minus 2? Start at 3, and I add a minus 2. maybe? Maybe?
-5?
Maybe? Now, remember this is my starting point. Always look at my starting point. My starting point is at 3. Okay, no matter what, I'm going to go 2 either side of it. It's either going 2 to the right or 2 to the left. I can't go any further than that. 2 is the only thing I can do to that number. Now, do I go 2 to the left or 2 to the right? If I add a negative, if I add some debt to the money you owe, that means you owe more money. It means you're more negative, yeah? So a plus minus in a row, subtract. You may see a plus minus. I'm adding debt. So I subtract. So that's 3 take away 2. I think Gordy was right. 3 take away 2 is 1. So let's create a few rules from this. If I see signs, so really just think about if I see signs in a row together, minus, plus, minus, minus, plus, minus. If I see those signs in a row together, I kind of want just one operation. I don't want to think about 2 operations or 2 things to do. So if I see, let's do this first one. If I see a minus then a plus, I know that that translates, I can rub that out and replace it with what? A minus. If I see a plus and a minus, it translates, like this one, to a minus. And if I see 2 minuses in a row, double negative, it translates to a plus. So maybe put that in our notes when I'm adding or subtracting. So if the signs are different, I subtract. If the signs are the same, I add. Different signs, you subtract. You combine them into one subtraction. If the signs are the same, you add. So different signs, so if I get a plus and a minus in a row, only if they're in a row, I subtract. Okay. Make sure you have that down. I'm going to give you some to do, see can you figure them out. Remember, for each of the ones I'm going to put up on the screen, you start here. You start at, so for this one I start at 2 and I subtract nothing, so that one's just 2. This one I start at 2 and I subtract 1. So I go start at 2, subtract 1, and back. You know how to do that one. So that's yellow. If you want to do yellow, do it. If you want a bit of a challenge, and I threw in some order of operations just to test you after a bit, remember to do whatever's inside the brackets first, and do blue. Do one of those colors now. See, I'll give you about 5 minutes to get as many done as you can. You don't have to write the questions for these if you don't want to. You can do most of them in your head. Use the number line if you're stuck in your book. Remember, this is our starting point. This first number is where we start. Try and do them A, B, C, D if you're doing yellow and blue, because that's the way the answers are going to be written, A, B, C, D, so you don't get confused. Go A, B, C, D. If you're doing blue, also the same. Go A, B, C, D first. So whichever you'd rather do. If you're not sure, definitely do yellow. If you're got this, do blue. So the answer to the first one is 2. The answer to the second one here is 1. The answer to the third one is 0. The answer to the fourth one is -1, yes. So you just write down those answers.